The process is one of those odd things where I've known Ivan for a long time, and we had conversations over years. Oh, I'd like you to write something for us, and because I think in those conversations it became clear, and through the other work that he's done of mine and that he's seen, he knew that I was interested in epics and myths and that kind of theatre language. So when he had the notion of doing something about the Norse gods because of their relationship with this part of the world, then he thought of me. So it actually took a long time in the tumble dryer, but then eventually came out. And he didn't say any more than that. He just said, have a look at this literature and see what you make of it. And then we had discussions, and I came up with this version of the Doom of the Gods, Ragnarok. Well, I finished the first draft at least 2.5 years ago. I had it in my mind that the play was on the following year, in 2013, but it wasn't. So actually I got it ahead of time. But I was struggling with it, and I hired a cottage in Appledore in North Devon and stuck myself away there, where children and grandchildren and everyone couldn't get me for a couple of weeks, and I sort of broke the back of it there. But overall, I would say, it would take about 8 or 9 months work. Well, these gods are definitely made in the image of humans. It's not the other way round, as in the Christian myth, that we are in God's image. These gods are very definitely reflections of us, and therefore they carry with them all of the weaknesses and jealousies, lusts, hates, revenges, everything that you can have. They also have great strengths, and it's like us but on a grander scale. And it does pose a problem of how to approach it as an actor, because how do you be a god? And I think of them as almost like EastEnders with big clothes, in one sense. There is a lot of family drama going on, but there's also within it a lot of ritual, which other with domestics dramas don't have. So there's a dynastic drama at the centre of it, which they can be ordinary in. They're squabbling over sibling rivalry, for instance, but at the same time there's another layer of acting, almost Shakespearean, which reaches into other mystical places where the acting does have to rise up. It can't be small. And I think particularly in the Hush House, we have to write a play and we have to create experience which will meet that space. I don't think it could ever have been God sitting around on sofas having cups of tea. Couldn't be an Alan Ayckbourn. I think that was instrumental in how I would approach the play, and made it possible for me to think of this is a play about gods versus giants. But this is not a play about gods coming down to earth and messing about with human kings, queens, as in the Wagner in the Ring cycle. This is only about the gods and the giants, so it all takes place in this mythical universe. And seeing the Hush House and the entrances you can have, and the possibility of making it into some kind of grand Viking hall, if you like, in which our story can take place, so that the audience are always kind of part of the party, that they're there in this other universe. So when you come through into the Hush House, it's as if you've crossed from the human world called Midgard into Asgard, and now you're in the Hush House, you're in this other world. I hope people come to the Hush House and have a big experience, a big theatrical experience in which big emotions, a big range of emotions and feelings are explored. I mean, these myths are explosive in their emotional range, which is why they make such a good opera and then make such big, good, epic movies like Lord of the Rings, which are all based on the same stories. I hope that the myth of Ragnarok allows us to look at the possibility, confront it, the possibility of the end of the world, and that's not a small thing. So it's why it's good to be in the Hush House. So I hope that there's a lot of fun in it. There's an element of folk tales within this big epic drama. So there's a lot of humour along the way, but ultimately it's an otherworldly experience. And I would hope that when you leave the Hush House, you would feel that you had been for 2.5 hours, or however long it is, in another universe, and felt somehow, a cathartic experience. You had confronted the worst and come out.